Welcome to the round table. Here we pick three trending topical matters that affect the lives of Nigerians and we discuss them on this table. I don't do this alone, or the presenter doesn't do this alone. We do it with one or two wonderful guests who will come together to analyze these topics. I have with me somebody who's joining us for the first time, and I equally have, I think he's a regular as well. Perhaps we don't see his face as constant as other persons, but he is a regular. Babatunde Titilola, good afternoon to you.
Good
It feels
afternoon.
good to have you here once again.
I am so happy to be here, and I look forward to
You're on the legal white and black.
Well,
Nice one.
it happens sometimes
Alright.
like that.
And to my left is Nehemiah Nwosu, Mr. Controversial, like some people love to call him. Good afternoon to you, Nehemiah. Feels good to have you on the round table.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, our viewers. It's good to be here today. I'm excited. When it comes to talking about Nigeria, I'm very, very passionate about this country, and we are all here together. Thank you.
Exactly. Nice one there from Nehemiah. We are all here because of our country. We'll keep discussing, we'll keep bringing topical issues to you, and we'll keep looking for way forwards. We keep seeking solutions to the many challenges bedeviling the Nigerian people. We start with bullying. In the last few days, bullying has been a topical matter that has been affecting many persons, or should I say many persons have been talking about, lending their voice to the situation that happened in Abuja, where secondary school students were having, one of them was bullying the other, both girls. And in the last few days, it has really descended into something very serious. The school has been shut down for 3 days. The Minister of Women Affairs was there, and there are several other persons who were there. The girl that was the bully was brought to the school, this time with a different personality, and she was apologizing. But a lot of things happened. But I think we should start with this. Babatunde Titilola. This girl is a secondary school student. She's obviously a young girl. I don't think she's obviously not 18. And her pictures and videos are everywhere. Talking about the bullying now, before we go into the act of bullying. Is that legally right for her pictures to be plastered everywhere on social media? She came the day they brought her into the school. Grown-ups, parents, people are practically lifting their phones up and taking pictures of her, taking videos of her. What is going on in this country of ours?
Thank you for that very interesting question. One thing about Nigeria when it comes to dealing with situations like this is they are not always protective. And protection in the sense of, affording the victim protection, affording the suspects protection. Now, in criminal justice system, we say something that justice must be done to the victim, to the person that is considered guilty, and so that the public will say that okay, this is justice. Now, being an underage in that kind of situation, it is totally incorrect. And, very unfortunate, if I may, that the pictures or the faces of the children involved in the case are all over the internet. I mean, there's need for protection for them, not because of, the kind of person, maybe, this is the bully, this is the person being bullied, but because they are citizens of the country and they're also children. Now, at the aftermath of this case, now all the children involved in the case, they'll be subjected to some internet ostracization, so to speak, because they can't be on the internet at some point and their picture will just pop up, or a meme out of what happened. So it's kind of disheartening to consider the aftermath of what will come out of all this, this case. And well, I don't think there's anything they can do to rectify the situation.
Sorry for cutting you short. I apologize. In the first place, while the altercation was happening between, I mean, the students, amongst the students, why would they even be recorded? Should everything be recorded these days in the first place?
Well, thank you. The problem with Nigeria when it comes to media is there's no much media regulations, and that affords everyone to pick up their devices and become, yeah. And most of what the media does now, particularly when it comes to blogging or is about sensationalism, where they just want to go viral, their name being called out as the person that first posted this and that. So it gives everybody that interest that whenever something is happening, they are always quick to, even instead of them to go and diffuse the situation or the conflict, they prefer to be the person behind the camera and tag all sort of people, and probably they want to have more likes and they want to become influencer and all of that. So there's no media regulations in Nigeria that can tackle that menace, and we will continue to experience everything like that until someone comes in and say, okay, enough is enough.
Sorry, very quickly, Nehemiah, let me bring you into this discussion. I mean, let's ask, before we dive into these matters fully, what happened in Abuja school that got the school locked for 3 days? Did you ever experience any of this when you were in secondary school? Did you ever hear of it? Is it like a norm that everybody knows about? Bullying, especially in school, bullying, is it a normal thing? Is it something that out of 10 people, 7 people will have an experience? Is it that you are the bully or you are the one that was bullied?
To be very, very frank, there are different levels when you talk about bullying. When I was in secondary school, I can remember vividly that as a junior class student, and if one senior class student wants to punish you, they might, I remember in our time, they might just ask you to just bend down. And for 30 minutes, a senior will be writing, you'll be using your back as a desk. Yes, I attended a government school. So might be using your back as a desk. Now there is another funny one as well. When a senior student wants to punish you as a junior student, they will, on the blackboard, they will draw an image of a vehicle and ask you to push that vehicle from a particular location on the blackboard to another one.
How would that happen?
So you understand? And if you don't do it, you'll be beaten, they will smack you and all that. So you understand? So there are different levels to these things.
Sorry, Nehemiah, sorry for cutting you short. Do we have a history of bullying in our schools, even in tertiary institutions, even generally? Is it Nigerian? Do we have the Nigerian bullying culture, or do you think we have the Nigerian bullying culture?
I think what usually happens is this: a lot of people think big of themselves. A lot of people look down on your fellow citizens. You look down on another person. So you have this tendency to say, I am bigger than you. I can, what do you want to tell me? Hey, get out of here. There are different levels.
A quick one. I'll show it to Babatunde this time. Do you think this is as a result of dysfunction in the home? Is it that, socialization from the home to the school, to, that way? Do you think it is as a result of improper socialization? The norms, cultural norms, regardless of where you are from, all cultures have this: be respectful, be this, be that. Are we saying that we don't have these teachings anymore in homes, in families, in religious places?
Well, partly you're right, because socialization is like the foremost education that a child should be introduced to. And I believe that when a child is born, at certain points in the child's life, the parents need to, introduce the child to the environment, to his peers, to to what is happening around him, and see how he's going to react, so that when he reacts out of place, they will know how to refine some to smoothen some areas. So the failure of the parents to do this, then the child goes out into the world and reacts however he pleases. So bullying, of course, starts from home, but at the same time, okay, and the reason why it starts from home is a dysfunctional home will definitely affect the life of the child when he's outside. How he interacts with other parents, how he interacts with other children, but all the same, when a child is outside, how the environment welcomes the child, how the environment embraces the child also matters. You cannot pick a broken child, a child that has been broken from home, and you interact in a way that is aggressive. There's a way that you would embrace such child so that he will feel safe at least. And I feel like our education system has not been improved enough to actually cater for children who have been broken or who are experiencing that are not safe right from their homes. So it is partly from home and also from the environment, whether the academic environment, the social environment, exactly. So everything contributes. They are all contributory factors to bullying.
Quick one, a solution. How do we get a solution to this crisis? Because let's forget the one-off example. We know it's a crisis. You've heard about it and you've seen it happen during your time. I'm so sure almost everybody in this room as we speak right now must have heard or seen something when he or she was in secondary school or even post-secondary school era. How do we take care of this? How do we cut this cancer at this moment?
When we look at how this thing unfolds, especially in schools, secondary schools, primary schools. Now, I think most of these schools they have rules, but most of those rules on papers. Now, they don't. So many schools don't enforce these rules. Maybe because of low self-esteem, especially in those schools where you have wealthy parents and all that, they find it difficult to look at those students.
Morals.
Yes, to scold the student. Now let's just take the example of this incident is happening. These incidents are happening exactly inside the school premises, especially those students that were taking images, taking videos and posting online. Where were those teachers? Where was the school authority? Hey, stop doing this. Hey, stop doing this. But because of low self-esteem, you cannot, you cannot look at the parents of the kids and say, this thing should not happen in this school. We're not going to take this, we're not going to tolerate this and all that. So the moment we start, looking into these things in our schools, enforcing these rules, most of those schools, if you look at them, they have rules on papers, but they don't enforce these rules. I don't know the reason why.
What of if these teachers actually try their best? What of if, like they say, you may be taught and you decide not to be taught? I mean, it's best said in Yoruba, where your parents or your teachers or whoever, they indeed taught you how to behave, but you go out there and you start misbehaving. That is not as a result of you not being properly taught.
Of course.
So what of if these teachers do their bit, they do their best, they tell them to do this and do that, and then somehow they just have wayward ones?
I remember in those days when we were in secondary schools, if a student misbehave, when they punish you, you do it repeatedly, and they will invite your parents. Sure, you understand? In those days when we went to school, they will invite your parents. So, and you won't know. You will just be in the school premises and they will tell you, your daddy is around, your daddy is around. and you'll be shocked. My dad is around.
You start
What's happening?
thinking.
So you understand? Then your co-student, your other student will be telling you, maybe you have done something wrong. Maybe you have done
That's the
something
first
wrong.
thing that comes to
So
mind.
you understand? Why? Because the school authority took it upon themselves to do these things. But I think oftentimes these things have disappeared in most of our schools, especially those schools that those high-paying schools. Maybe because they are afraid of their parents, or they will take this child away and take that child. They don't want to lose the students, things like that.
All right.
To buttress what you said. So when it comes to punishment, we have to consider the fact that they are still kids. They are still in their formative years and all of that. So what kind of punishment would you give a bully to stop doing what they do? Is the punishment punitive? Is it reformative? Is it restorative? Now, consider that a bully has a mental idea that they are in the position to inflict pain on the other. Now, the more you inflict pain on someone like that, the more hard the person becomes. So, and it goes to say that our teachers should, should come out from the place of being mere teachers to being sub-parents. Now, it's not complete to have schools that have counselors and all of that. The teachers themselves can also be counselors, so that it will be very easy to pick a bully and refine the person, rather than going hard, going aggressive by punishing and all of that. Because at the end of the day, the bully will leave the class, but if you talk to the person, he can still remember the kind of reformative procedure he has been going through in school, rather than the beating. Because if I should bully someone now and I'm being punished severely for it, if I have the chance to meet that victim again and I look at my back and I didn't see,
the attack will be double.
It will be double. I will inflict more pain on the victim. So I believe that we should do more in trying to reform bullies rather than punishing them for the crimes.
New school teaching.
Well, it should be.
All right, very quickly we move to our next topic, and we'll be talking about food price surge. There's an increase in food prices. Of course, this story was off our front page this morning. 8 states have a 30% increment in food. I remember that if you look at, compare how much was used to in purchasing food last year, and you compare that with what we are doing right now, just do a 1 year comparison. Or you go 2 years back, 2022 April, April 2022, April 2024. If you compare both years, it's something else out there. Food surge, 30% increment in 8 states. Nehemiah, what is the solution? What do we do most with our allowances, with our salaries? Any responsible man knows that he must stock up the house for his family. That's the first thing on any mother's mind. What will my kids eat? On any father's mind, what will my family eat? And then food, that is supposed to be, how will I put it, the most available thing.
Of course,
you may not afford certain luxury, but food shouldn't be
Definitely.
in any form a luxury. It shouldn't. It should be
Definitely.
food. I mean, take those days when you go to people's house as kids, to your neighbor's house, the first thing they do is give you food. I mean, you are going to visit people, it's just normal, they are cooking for you. Now, if you are not careful,
It's even hard to waste food now.
waste.
They should give you food.
Visit somebody unnecessarily.
Seeing the food is one
Just
thing, wasting the
watching
food
TV.
is another thing.
What is the solution? Rice is no longer what it used to be. Gari that was normal, go and drink Gari. People don't drink Gari in that form anymore. Everything, you are trying to be careful. You are trying to be wise with what you have at home. And then there's 30% surge again. This is still April. We are not even yet in December. What's the solution to this crisis? Many persons have been affected.
This is a very, very disheartening situation. And when you look at a country like ours that is blessed with so many potential,
Shouldn't be
and
us.
when you think about these things, you wonder what exactly is happening. Now, when we look at food, the way the country is, the way we're blessed, we should be able to feed ourselves, to an extent that, you know, we'll be able to now export from these crops and all that. Now, one thing that is very, very paramount is the issue of security. We see what happened. The truth is, we don't breed out food like the way we breed out food in the past. Now, I was having a conversation with I was traveling, so a vehicle, a lorry bringing food from, I think, the north, broke down on the road. And when it broke down on the road, it was on that road. I think he was carrying tomato, those perishable stuffs. So they were now trying to, because they don't want to make a loss. They were now trying to, you know, look for people to sell these tomatoes for. To, you know, people come around, they bring their baskets and they price and they sell. So we came down from we were trying to, about 2 people wants to just, you know, ease themselves, and we came down from the vehicle. We just accosted them to find out what is wrong, what is happening. He said that they have been on the road for a few days, and they've spent a lot of money. They will settle this, they will settle that, they will settle this person before they get to this place. Now, when these things happen, I've been hearing issues about when these things happen on the road. What are our people doing? Now, if you look at the people collecting these fees from them, most of them are. The government is aware of these things. How do you curb
security officials?
How do you curb them? They said it. Most of them said it. So how do you curb these things? Now, the insecurity in this country is a very, very serious problem. Very, very serious problem. You know, news about bandits, you know, herdsmen, and all that. The government needs to take the issue of insecurity very, very serious, especially the ones around our farms. Especially the ones around our farms. The agricultural situation in this country is something that the government needs to come in and take a very, very holistic look at. Food needs to be surplus in this country. Nigeria has got a lot of potential to make this happen.
Very quickly, Babatunde, let's juxtapose the insecurity challenge Nigeria is having with the food crisis we are having. Nehemiah took us into insecurity and said we need to sort it out. But the government have come out with, they've been saying all along that they're trying to, bring solutions to that crisis. But now, these 8 states, surveys have been done, surveys have been concluded, that between December and now, just December and now, between Happy New Year and now, there has been 30% increment. 30% increment means if you are earning 100K, if you are buying food of 100K before, what you are buying for 100K is now 130,000 naira. And for many of these persons, I'm so sure their salaries have probably not been increased, except you work with the Lagos State government that have been paying increased minimum wage since January, as disclosed today by the Lagos State government. But for other states, especially the 7 remaining states, or people who don't work with the government, how do they feed? Security crisis is affecting food, feeding, and the government is saying it's trying its best. So what is the solution? How do we get to this nexus?
Well, this insecurity issue is a recurring topic.
It is.
And to be honest with you, it's kind of tiring to give opinion on. But I believe that there are ways to make lives bearable for Nigerians, and the major chunk of the job is on the government. Now, interestingly, you said the Lagos State government declared that they've been paying.
The Lagos State government gave 500,000 food to 500,000 households.
Interesting and good one there. And the same government has been undertaking Unjaiko for the past few weeks now. Yes. So which is impressive. But it is not long term.
Into an ocean.
Yeah, it is not long term, but the government is trying, at least in this state. But generally, now, I mean, we've been hearing news about food partnerships, agricultural advancement, grant and all of that. But it's not showing, just in the books.
It's not hitting the ground.
It's as if, those that are supposed to feel the graciousness of the government or the work of the government, they are not feeling it.
People are still feeling the pain.
So what the government should go to the roots of these issues. It's not on the surface. It's the grassroots. It's the grassroots. Those in the village. We rely on them. The city people rely most on those in the village.
Absolutely.
But you can't go there and if you listen to their stories, you will know that there's a lot going on.
Can't go to these farms anymore.
Exactly. They can't buy what they need to make whatever they are growing, to make it surplus, to feel good as a farmer. And it's the same government that keep advising people to go into farming, and all that. But you are not investing in a way that an average farmer will say, okay, I got a grant from the government for this. We have ideas where the grants go whenever they say there's a grant.
I have no idea.
Well, it's not to those who need it.
Wow.
I mean, I've recorded cases of those who have come out and say, okay, our names were on the book. We went there, they saw our names, but we never got anything.
Wow.
And if they want to collect such data, they will say so from so got this, got that, and how. So they need to do more, monitor the disbursements and make sure that this help, these palliatives, whatever they are, whether livestock or farming equipment and all, get to those who actually need it, so that when they work and the output is massive, every one of us can enjoy it.
Quick one to you, Nehemiah. Do you think a partial solution exists in opening the borders? Do you think it will help?
I believe it will help.
Okay.
I believe it will help. Now, in a situation where we lack food in the country, opening the borders for food to come in will be a very, very big relief to the people. Now, this is where the government comes in. Regulation. Do the right thing. Make sure that every food coming in is safe. Get yourselves to the border and do what needs to be done. We can bring in food into the country and it will ameliorate the sufferings of the people. Since we're not getting enough from where we're supposed to get it, which is in this country. So the government needs to come up, and give people relief. People are suffering on a daily basis. And this is what we that work, this is what we face on a daily basis. People call your phones.
And
People call your
job
phones.
account numbers there.
You wake up one morning and you see, boss, please help me. The next thing you will see account number.
Without asking.
Sure, you understand. The government needs to come and save the citizenry.
Quick one. Do you support his notion? Do you think the borders should be opened as well?
I agree, but not in totality.
Okay, what moderations do you have?
Well, Nigeria should not, when it comes to food, it should be the easiest to
We are
get.
too big. We are not.
The country should not rely on what comes in. Because we know that we have arable land. We have, we have places, vast expanse of land we can grow. So we just need to be serious about this.
But the farmers are complaining of insecurity.
But that's where the government needs to do their job. If they don't mind, I know some farmers don't mind, arming themselves and all of that. But can the government withstand the aftermath of farmers' elders clash?
It has been on for years.
Yeah,
and
it's not very comfortable for any one of us. So the government can ensure security in the farms and invest. If they invest as they claim they invest, they would be able to protect them.
I think it is quite easy. I think, I may be wrong, the herders are Nigerians. The farmers are Nigerians.
Of course.
Some people own these farms. Some people own these cattle.
Of course.
Why can't you call these people? They are not ghosts. This particular area that they have been killing people, killing farmers. Who are these people? Invite some of these guys leading these cows, not to a sale, over a plate of bread and beans over a cup of tea and, you know, meat pie, who is your boss? Who is sending you out into the bush? My oga isn't so and so person. Oh, okay, let's meet them. See, this is what we are trying to avoid. This is what we are trying to build. I think it is easy if there's nobody behind the scenes trying to ensure the trouble does not leave. I don't think it's this difficult.
Like we used to say, governance isn't rocket science. Governance isn't. If the people we have in government has this human face, you know, when a soul is lost, you are pained, you are bothered, and you want to know what is the problem. Why is this person dying? What is happening? And you call everybody to the round table. This is what you need to do, and this is where government comes in. You talk to people. You can do this. You can do this. If you don't do this, government will do this.
Exactly.
Like the Big Daddy.
If you don't do this,
if you don't do your assignment, I will beat you.
Government will do this. I am giving you the opportunity to make amends.
Yeah.
But if you don't make amends, government will do this and this. And you see, I strongly believe that things will definitely change.
Anyway, the states that the surveys were conducted, of course, Lagos, Ogun, Gombe, Kwara, Sokoto, Ekiti, Osun, and Niger states. If you are wondering what survey am I talking about, surveys in these states have confirmed that between December and now, prices of foodstuff, rice, beans, gari, things that we all eat, have increased by at least 30%. Very quickly, we have to move to our third and final topic for the day. And what best to talk about than Nigerians getting bullied in their own country by foreign national. Nigerians are being discriminated against. It's just like I made mention of earlier. It looks like we are talking about bullying almost all through. Nigerians have been discriminated against in Nigeria. We have 2 incidents already in the last couple of days. An Indian school where only Indians can attend, Nigerians have no right to attend. And then a Chinese store. The Indian school is in Lagos. The Chinese store is in Abuja, where they don't attend to Nigerians, but we're in Nigeria. This, the school and the store are not in the embassies of India and China respectively. It's understandable when these schools are in their embassy, and this is a plot of land or 3 plots of land in Nigeria, but it is the embassy of China, so this is just your country on our land, and we allow you to do your things, but in that space. Not outside of that space. I think I want to start with Babatunde. Nigerians will cheat Nigerians outside of the country. Foreigners will cheat Nigerians outside of the country. You say, okay, I'm outside of my father's land.
Not a fatherland.
You will come home. Fellow Nigerians will still cheat fellow Nigerians. To rub salt on the injury, foreigners will still discriminate against Nigerians in this country. How are we bullying us? Why are people bullying us here? How?
Well, the situation is disheartening, to say the least. But while we as the citizens, we have our own part of the blame, I strongly believe and hold that the government has a lot to do in all of this. Now, a foreign school in the country, there's nothing bad with that.
Of course.
I believe the school was duly registered with appropriate authorities. But the question is, how many times are the authorities in charge of this, for the private schools and all of that, how many times have they gone around visiting schools to ensure that, okay, there is sanity there, there is compliance there, there is proper academic, environment there? I mean, if, except they went there and they felt good with what they saw, that, okay, it's just for, strictly for Indians, it's okay. But I do not believe it's reasonable for the government to allow such to continue. So it's either they never made any, the authorities in charge, they never made any visits to, to monitor schools, or they went there and they saw what was happening and they totally agree with it. So, cause it's absurd to even think that in Newcastle there will not be coals. I mean, this is Nigeria. We should be everywhere. Safely speaking. But why would a foreign a foreigner come to the country, create a space, and ensures that, okay,
for me and mine,
this person, this space is strictly for whoever I say it is
not for us, or you're not one of us.
Yeah, so it's of course I know that some Nigerians would not want to go to an Indian dominated school, but at the same time they should have the freedom and the right to enroll if they so wish. So it is not something that is impressive. It shows that monitoring academic, the education system is porous, and anybody can do anything they like in the system.
Or is it possible that somebody within the system knew that was what it was?
Someone in the system can be an accomplice. That's what I'm saying. That is it that they never made any visit to to schools to monitor what was happening in various schools, or maybe the officials that went there, the Indians, they had a sit down with them over, like you said, over bread and beans, over tea, and they said, like, okay, good job, you can go ahead, as long as something rings in my bank account on a monthly basis. We are good. So we are good. So it's disheartening, and we'll see how the government reacts to it.
We really hope so. The Chinese store in Abuja, that is very funny. I mean, it's understandable, like Titula Lala Babatunde said, that some people feel, no, I don't want to go to an Indian dominated school in the first place. But a store, I think anybody who wants to walk up to a store and, get a pack of this and a pack of that, you have more persons coming and going. And then they don't allow Nigerians in the Federal Capital Territory of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What an irony.
A big irony. The truth is, it is, will I say, is unheard of. Now, this is where, when we talk about rule of law, when we talk about these things, this is where they come in. Now, if you allow some set of people's space within your own space, and you are not firm, you give room for them to do one or two things that are not, those things are not supposed to happen. Now, definitely that store, the existence of that store didn't start yesterday. I know that store might have been in existence for a very, very long time. Now, when we talk about regulation, this is where we talk about how we regulate people in this country. Now, but for people to have that kind of mindset, to come in and think we can do any harm in this country, we can do this, is at least we are Chinese. We can do this. Now, it is and I think this is where the government needs to come in. Now, it's one thing to make a discovery, and it is another thing to make sure that things of such does not happen again in the history of this country. Now, the government needs to now go out and look at these stores owned by foreigners. What are the things happening in these stores? How are they interactive with Nigerians? Look at these things and make sure that things like that's just what I would say. Make sure things like this don't repeat themselves again. Then I think we should strengthen our laws. We should strengthen our laws in this aspect and make sure that when these people, because I don't know, they get licenses for these businesses.
There are regulatory agencies in charge.
Regulatory agencies in charge. How do they monitor these people to make sure that they are following up with the regulations and they are adhering to every rules and every regulation that is available to them? This is why the government comes in, monitor these people, look at what they face. We have read a lot of reports about not just those places, about companies, manufacturing companies owned by most of these foreigners, Indians and all that. We've read reports on dailies for years about what happened to these people, their welfare, how they treat Nigerians in Nigeria.
Nigerians, yes.
So you understand?
Yes.
Some of the manufacturing companies that Nigerians incur injuries, how they are being left alone to cater for their problems and their injuries and all that.
And they come here,
and these
step
things,
on the people,
these things happen in our country.
Good.
So this is where the government comes in. Regulation, regulate these people. Let Nigerians be safe in Nigeria.
At least.
At least.
All right. Thank you very much for guys. Unfortunately, we do not have enough time to go on and on and on. My producers are screaming into my ears and saying it's time for us to go. Thank you very much for joining us for the very first time. Nehemiah Unwosu, thank you very much. We really do appreciate your coming. Babatunde Titilola, our regular, thank you very much for being on the show this wonderful Thursday afternoon. Thank you very much, most especially to you. Yes, you, our viewer. Without you, we won't be on this end of this table. Same time next week, Thursday, we'll be here, God willing, to give you another beautiful and wonderful episode of the Roundtable. My name is Shegun Darashen. Have yourselves a fantastic weekend that begins tomorrow. Stay out of trouble.